Not a red rose or a satin heart. I give you an onion. It is a moon wrapped in brown paper. It promises light, like the careful undressing of love. Here, it will blind you with tears, like a lover. It will make your reflection a wobbling photo of grief. I'm trying to be truthful, not a cute card or a kissogram. I give you an onion. Its fierce kiss will stay on your lips, possessive and faithful, as we are, for as long as we are. Take it. Its platinum loops shrink to a wedding ring, if you like. Lethal. Its scent will cling to your fingers, cling to your knife. I wanted to write a poem for Valentine's Day. And I was thinking of all the things I've just been talking about cliche. But I suppose I mostly wanted to surprise myself. And that's something we'll be talking about going forwards, to take yourself unawares when you write a poem. So on this particular day, I was writing at my kitchen table. I can't think why, just couldn't be bothered going to the study and being all formal poetry mode. So I was writing at the kitchen table and thinking of the things that people give on Valentine's Day, the gifts and the greetings cards. And my eye fell on a bowl of onions in the kitchen. And I picked one up. And I remembered a line from Shakespeare: "My eyes smell onion, I shall weep anon." And this kind of clicked in my mind. And I cut the onion in half and peeled it and looked at it and thought how, as Shakespeare says, onions can make us cry. But sometimes, alas, so can love. Love isn't always smooth and perfect and happy ever after. So I thought that the onion would be the perfect, truthful, as I say in the poem, Valentine's gift. I think the love poem is the most challenging of poems to write, because there's the danger of cliche, the danger of tipping slightly into sentimental song lyric. I love you, yeah, yeah, yeah. I, in fact, come pretty close to saying that in one of these poems, but I'm aware that I'm doing it. How do we avoid cliche in the love poem? Well, firstly, be aware of it, be conscious of your words, and later we'll be focusing on drafting and redrafting our poems. Scrutinize your poems. Don't go for the obvious, the first phrase that comes to mind. Or if you do use a cliche, revitalize it. There's a wonderful tiny poem by Roger McGough, which is called Love Poem to a Married Woman. That's the title. And here's the whole poem. Your finger, sadly, has a familiar ring about it. Now, he uses a cliche, familiar ring, but he makes it live again because we see the pun of the wedding ring on the finger. So alertness to the words you're using to construct the poem is essential. And it doesn't matter if you're particular, if you mention a particular incident, as long as you feel confident that all lovers could relate to that poem. An example here is a poem, Tea, which is simply about making a cup of tea for the beloved. And of course, when we're in love, we love to do ordinary things. They seem miraculous. In this book, I write about seeing the person I'm in love with, and I say that even the air around them seems famous. We bestow upon the beloved a glamour, a magic that they don't actually possess, but they do in our heightened state. So this poem is simply about making a cup of tea. I like pouring your tea, lifting the heavy pot and tipping it up, so the fragrant liquid steams in your china cup. Or when you're away or at work, I like to think of your cupped hands as you sip, of the faint half smile of your lips. I like the questions, sugar, milk, and the answers I don't know by heart yet, for I see your soul in your eyes, and I forget. Jasmine, gunpowder, Assam, Earl Grey, Ceylon. I love tea's names. Which tea would you like, I say? But it's any tea for you, please, any time of day. As the women harvest the slopes for the sweetest leaves on Mount Wu Yi, and I am your lover, smitten, straining your tea. So in that poem, the reader can be in no doubt that I am, as I say, smitten as the writer of the poem. But I put all my smittenness into the image of tea, of making a cup of tea, and I push that. I make a litany of the names of tea, which I now love. I say them, jasmine, Assam. I make them almost prayer-like or spell-like or blessing-like. And I go further. I imagine where the tea is picked on a mountain in Japan. I picture the women who are picking the leaves for this tea. So I go beyond the very banal to try and impose on making a cup of tea the glamour and the magic and the electric feeling of being in love. Perhaps one of the reasons love poetry is so difficult to write is because of its long history and because of its motifs and associations. We think of the moon when we think of love. We think of flowers. We have Burns saying, "My love is like a red, red rose." But conversely, we have Shakespeare saying, "My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun." Shakespeare there is aware of the dangers of the easy love poem, but Burns is as truthful and as aware of the joy of falling in love. So I think we write with a kind of critic, a self-critic next to us, our poetry policewoman, if you like. If we're droning on about how wonderful the beloved is, we're being interrogated by someone or a voice in our head saying, cliche, boring. We really need to be aware of that to make it new, to make it fresh, and always interrogate our words. If we think about some of the love poems I've been talking about or have read, we have in my two poems, Tea and an Onion. These aren't romantic images, but they show the mind of the poet alert to everything in the world that can come to the service of the love poem. And that alertness, that willingness to see everything as available to the cause of the poem is one way of guarding against cliche in love poems particularly.